Black Friday. Remember those Black Fridays as a kid where you'd gather around the Black Friday stick and enjoy warm Black Friday treats with your What's that? It's a made up holiday for businesses to sell you more stuff. Well, be that as it may, we're going to talk about it in this week's podcast. Hello, my name is Pete Johns. This is the Studio Live Today podcast where my goal is to help you create, record, and release your best music. We do that through tips and tricks, tutorials, and this weekly podcast. This week, we're talking Black Friday. I'm going to share with you 7 tips to make sure that you get the most out of any purchases that you may choose to make. And if you are choosing to make those purchases this Black Friday, might I point you towards the Studio Live Today gear guide? Yeah, I've done all the hard work for you. Whether you're buying gear on Amazon or Sweetwater or eBay or Thomann, you can jump over to studiolivetoday.com/gear, and those are affiliate links. So if you'd like to make a purchase, you pay the same amount, but they break off a chunk and they send it my way. I've got my complete mobile rig set up there and my complete desktop set up, as well as a whole bunch of gear that I use in the studio. This is all hand picked and hand selected. It is not just everything that I can think of. It is stuff that I actually use or that people in this community that I trust actually use. So jump over there and check that out. That's a good segue. Let's jump into these 7 tips. Tip number 1, beware of people and their affiliate links. Now, is that a very logical thing for someone who just told you that they're an affiliate to some of these places and that you should go use their links to go buy things? Probably not, but I've never said I'm a great salesperson. I'm a music educator. But I did want to put this up front because you do need to be aware of it. Now, if you're buying gear here on the Studio Live Today Gear Guide, all of this stuff is actually vetted by me. Now, you just have to take my word for that. But if you don't want to trust me, do your research. Go out to other creators and find out what they're recommending as well before you jump in and take the plunge. The reason I say that is that sometimes creators like me, but not me, have a vested interest. They'll either be they'll have a stake in the company actually making the gear, which is a challenge. They'll have an affiliate relationship with the company selling the gear. Maybe they get a 20% or a 30% payment for folks actually buying the gear. Or, like me, they have an affiliate partnership with a retailer where a small chunk is broken off for everything that folks buy through that. Now, scrupulous folks will actually tell you that, and by law they have to. But am I going to say that every single person that does every single thing online is doing it by the book? Not necessarily. So my caveat, my warning here, and you know what? They do say buyer beware, caveat emptor when you're buying stuff. My first thing to be aware of is that if you're buying gear and someone says, you must buy this audio interface, you must buy these headphones, you must buy these monitors, speakers, just keep in mind, they may have a vested interest in telling you to do that. So do your research, check a bunch of different sources, and then, of course, come back to the Studio Live Today Gear Guide and buy your stuff through there. I joke. I don't joke. Thank you again for being here, by the way. If you're watching the video version, you can hit the thumbs up or you can leave a comment down below. If you're watching the live premiere on YouTube, hello, you're awesome. And if you're listening on the podcast version, jump into your podcatcher of choice. Leave a rating, leave a review. I appreciate all of you for doing all of that. Let's go into number 2, numero dos. That is that gear is not always the answer. I told you I'm a bad salesperson, and I really am, because before you dive in and you actually buy anything to improve and upgrade your studio, keep this in mind. I like to say that a crappy song in $1 million studio is still a crappy song, and $1 million song on an iPhone is still a great song. So the gear does not make all the difference. Do you need decent quality gear to get a decent sound? Yes, you do. Do you need absolute top-end gear before you should even bother starting and learning how to create? No, you shouldn't. And this is a mistake I see too many folks make, is that they get super excited, they dive in, they say, Johns, what should I buy? Tell me every piece of gear. And they go out and they kit out a studio, $3,000, $5,000 worth of gear. They haven't learned how to write a good song, to record at the right levels, to mix, to master, to do all the things, to use their plugins effectively. So don't put the cart before the horse. You don't need the best gear in the world. And this is actually really good news. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out there and upgrade your gear. I started with a very dodgy interface, and then over time I upgraded. I went to a Focusrite interface, so Steinberg interfaces. I've got my Zoom LiveTrack L8. Again, all of those are linked over on the gear guide if you want to see exactly what I use. So you can definitely level up your gear. But again, just like if your child was starting to play guitar, you wouldn't buy them a genuine 1960s Fender Stratocaster off the bat. You'd buy them something more affordable so they can learn on that. The same goes with your recording. Don't jump the gun thinking that spending more money, throwing money at the situation is going to make your recordings better. It's not going to do that in the short term. Later on, go your hardest. If you've got the gas and you've got the gear acquisition syndrome and you want to buy all the things, then do that later. But you don't need to do it all straight away, and you don't need to do it all right up front. Let's talk number 3, numero tre. Why am I doing the weird accents and languages? I've been doing Duolingo lately. Did you know Duolingo has a music thing now? Music learning in the app? I might have to review that soon. I get a bit distracted. Let's talk about discounts. So number 3 is that discounts can be deceptive. Guess what? If you don't need it, it can be 99% discounted, and it still doesn't matter because you still don't need it. So when you start jumping in and you see all these amazing deals like 40% off, 29% off, 30% off, 42% off, 30% off, before you go in and you dive in and you start committing to buying some of this stuff, keep a couple of things in mind. Number 1, if it's something you didn't need to begin with, it doesn't matter how discounted it is, it's not actually worth doing. And number 2, a lot of the discounts you see are off the list price. So this is a tip for a bit of an expert tip for new players, is that when you're checking out a piece of gear, the list price is the street price or the recommended retail price. So when you see a Black Friday deal that says 29% off and it's $128 because the list price is $179.99, guess what? That was probably $149 last week, and we'll probably go back to $149. So before you get super excited and you think that you're saving all the money and that these discounts are amazing, just like when you're buying a car, just like when you're buying anything else, you got to realize that the retailers will want you to think you're getting the best possible deal. And look, they quite clearly say it's the list price, it's the retail price, it's the street price. But you know what that's like. You're always going to be paying less than that, even when stuff isn't on sale. So when you see these big discounts with the big red numbers on them, don't get too excited and think that that's the best deal ever. It might be a good deal, and if it's a good deal, take it. And what I like to say is, and a bit of a bonus tip here, if you're not buying big stuff this time of the year, buy the little stuff. Like, if you get guitar picks at 10% off, guess what? You were buying guitar picks anyway. More than likely, if you're a guitarist, you're getting cables. You're getting mic cables, you're getting guitar cables, you're getting string. Guitar players, where are my guitar players at? You're going to buy some sets of strings in the next year. If D'Addario strings are 15% off, pick up a couple of sets because you're going to be buying them for $20. You might as well buy them for $17 right now. So, yeah, there's nothing to say that you shouldn't get out there and actually enjoy some of these discounts. Just don't get deceived by the discounts. Number 4, reviews. Can we talk about reviews for a moment? Because reviews can be deceptive for a couple of reasons. Number 1 is that reviews aren't always what we call verified purchases. Now, if you're buying from someone like Amazon or eBay or someone that is reputable, they'll usually let you know if they're an authorized purchaser that's reviewing that. If you're buying from some of the sites that will remain nameless, but you can probably think of in your head right now, it may not be quite the case. So if you're actually reading reviews, check if they're actually a verified purchase before you get too excited about the review and think that it's going to tell you that it's really great or that it's really terrible or somewhere in between. So yeah, when you're looking through reviews, the other thing that I want to say is that a lot of reviews are people with expectations that may be well above and beyond. And what I tend to say is, remove the 1 stars, remove the 5 stars, read the 3s and the 4s and the 2s, because The one stars tend to be from folks where something's gone catastrophically wrong, or their expectations of a product they bought for $20 were the same as a product that should have been $200, and vice versa. Some people, when it sends you that link that says, hey, rate this product, they're like, I guess it was fine, click 5 stars. So I think that the real reviews you should dive into are one, verified purchases from actual real people, and two, people that are rating it somewhere in that mid zone. That's where you're going to get the reality of what the product's really like. The other thing to be aware of is fake reviews. Now, again, this is why I say use the links that I have to Thomann, to eBay, to Amazon, and to Sweetwater. All the reviews that they accept there will tell you that they're a verified purchase. And if they're not, it'll be really, really clear that they're not a verified purchase. So read your reviews that are verified purchases, read them on a reputable site. If it's musicgear4cheap.biz, then guess what? You're probably not going to get the best quality gear from that particular site. So just keep that with you and beware of that when you're actually shopping around, because those reviews can be dodgy. I won't give you all the horror stories. I've talked about it before here on the channel, and we can delve into it on future videos, but there's also an underground of paid reviews, of botted reviews, of people in developing countries being paid very small amounts of money to pretend they've purchased a product and review it. It's a whole mess. So again, multiple sources for your information, verified purchases. Look at those 2 to 4 star ratings, because your 5-star ratings, they may be a bot. Your 1-star ratings, probably someone with unrealistic expectations. Number 5, price isn't always everything. What? Shouldn't I buy the cheapest? Well, for the same reasons that we've talked about before, generally not. You should generally keep in mind that you may want to consider buying from a reputable source as opposed to the actual cheapest. Should we do a live test? For those that are here on the video version, you're going to see me do a live test. And here's the funny thing. I've just gone to google.com. It's a black background and it says to me, don't miss Black Friday deals on Google Pixel. See, everyone's doing it. You can't make this stuff up, folks. So let's say there's a pair of speakers that I love, and they're the PreSonus, can I spell PreSonus correctly? PreSonus Iris E3.5. So let's find ourselves the PreSonus. Now, Google have a pretty cool shopping app. So if we jump in here, we'll see, I'm here in Australia. So Google have a few different places here. It's telling me here live that Store DJ have these for $179, Behringer's have them for $229, Sounds Easy have them for $170. Now, I'm not going to say anything about Sounds Easy, that they're not a reputable seller, but I've never heard of them. And I have bought from both DJ City and Derringer's Music before. So if I'm going to buy these, even though they're $170 from Sounds Easy, they're $179 from Store DJ. Guess what? I'm probably going to buy from Store DJ. And the same thing applies for whatever you search for. And by the way, these monitors are on sale with Amazon for folks in the US right now, the 4.5-inch versions of them, which are really, really good. So I would just say, don't just go for the lowest price every time. Check into the reputation of the store and a lot of the other details that we've already talked about. So the reviews, the returns policy, which we'll chat about in a moment, the payment methods, which we'll chat about in a moment, and the discount amounts and what their retail price says. So just check into all of that stuff before you pull the trigger and buy. And it's why, of all the places, I get affiliate offers from different retailers and different companies pretty much on a daily, if not weekly basis. And I reject most of them because I look at them, I do my due diligence. Believe it or not, John's actually does his due diligence. And I check it out and I go, hey, is this going to be the right, would I buy? Hand on heart, would I buy from this company? And if the answer is probably not, then I'm not going to put my name to it. I'm going to stick with the companies. And whatever your opinion is of companies like Amazon and eBay, they're what is it they call? Too big to fail. They're too big to scam you. You know you're not going to get scammed. You may not agree with everything that they do and all of their business practices, but you do know that if something goes wrong, they're going to stick by it and you've actually got a recourse. Whereas if you go to, and again, not picking on that particular retailer because they may be great, and if I wanted to buy from them, I'll do my research. If I go in there and I do my research and everything's great, then hey, go for it. Knock yourself out. But do keep that in mind before you go. I did just mention it then, but we're going to talk number 6, and that is returns policy. Yeah. you need to check your returns policy because music audio gear in particular is very specific. Like if you buy, for instance, I love the headphones that I use. Let's dive in here. I'm going to dive into the gear guide here. I love these, the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro headphones. They are comfortable. They're a good reference. Oh, they're on special too. They're a good reference set of headphones for me. They've got nice cups there. They've got the nice oval shaped cups. They've got the curly cord that I love. They've got the soft padding on the head. I just really like them. Other people put them on and they're like, these are the most uncomfortable things I've ever worn, and I don't like the sound. So, what do we do about that? Well, you make sure that if you're buying them, you buy them from somewhere like Sweetwater, or you buy them from Amazon, or you buy them from eBay. You buy them from a reputable site that has a good, say it with me, returns policy. Yes. Look, I don't return a lot of stuff because I try to do my research and try to buy, but I have bought stuff that has just not been for me. One of the things was a microphone. Like I use Zoom stuff. I love Zoom. I've got my Zoom Live Track mixer that I'm talking through right now. But I bought a Zoom IQ7, I think it was, a little lightning-based microphone for my phone, and it just didn't work the way I wanted it to. Maybe my expectations were too high, but I got pops and clicks, and the audio quality wasn't great. I returned that because I bought it through Amazon, and I bought myself the Shure MV microphone, and that was great. But if I bought that through dodgybrothersmcbrothers.com, who knows? Maybe I couldn't return it. Maybe I couldn't have got a refund. So if you take my advice and you're like, hey, these Sennheiser HD280 Pro, I'm checking them on Sweetwater. They got 4.5 stars, 338 reviews on there. I'm going to jump in there. I'm going to read the reviews. I'm going to read the 2s and the 3s and the 4-star reviews because they're going to give me the best bang for my buck. I'm going to check the price. I'm going to check the returns policy. And I'm going to make sure that if I do go ahead and pull the trigger on these, that if they're not right, I can, in all good conscience, return them and then buy some AKGs or some Sonys. Let's not get into the headphone debate. That's a long one. It has been around for a long time, and we'll get into that. By the way, if you're watching this one or listening to this one live, in about 24 hours' time from this one, we are doing our first big marathon Black Friday stream where we'll be looking at all of the deals that are available. So if you're listening to this one in the future or watching in the future, probably not going to be super relevant. Just head to the gear guide and you'll see what's up right now. But if you are watching this live or near to the date around Black Friday, on the actual day of Black Friday, we'll be doing a big marathon stream so that we can actually see what is available. I'm finding some cool things right now. I had no idea. Those Sennheiser headphones I just spoke about are $79, down from $99. And I know that that's a real discount because those sit at $99 the rest of the year. So even though the $99.95 is the list price, that's usually what you pay for those things. So keep that in mind. Number 7 is buy your stuff using PayPal or a credit card. Okay, I know you can come at me and say, oh, that's not going to work for everyone, Johns. PayPal's not available in my country, Johns. I don't have a credit card, Johns. I only got a debit card. Okay, I get it. And it's not essential. You don't have to do this stuff. But here's why. Here's why I do this stuff. Here's why I do. Here's why I suggest that you actually pay by PayPal or a credit card. Because, especially if you're shopping at places that are maybe not as reputable, your credit card companies, your Visas, your MasterCards, your American Expresses, and PayPal have buyer protection, which means that if someone dodgy doesn't want to refund your money, you can go to your credit card company or you can go to PayPal, you can lodge a complaint, and 99.9% of the times you get your money back. You've also then got protection against someone doing the dodgy. If you buy from dodgymcsound.com, I don't know why I keep making up these weird sounds. If you buy from a dodgy retailer online and you give them your debit card number and they're dodgy and they find a way to get into your debit card and you've got $1,000 there, the thing you bought for $50 may have just cost you an extra $950 because they've gone in there and they've cleaned out your account. Now, can they do that on a credit card? Yes, but you're a lot more you've got a lot better protection when you're paying with a credit card than you do if you're paying with a debit card or direct transfer or check. I don't know. Do anyone still pay by check? I keep seeing check as an option, and I think that's mostly for my American friends. Oh, burn. No, it's okay. I know that most of you don't actually pay for things by check anymore, but it's you hung on to the checks for a while in the US as well. Then again, you have things like Venmo now, and we don't have Venmo, so hey, swings and roundabouts. So that's my 7 tips. Should we just review them? Beware of affiliates. Beware of dodgy people like John's telling you that, hey, buy this because it's the best and here's my affiliate link. No, don't really. You can use my links, studiolivetoday.com/gear. But you'll notice there that I'm not pushing particular things. I'm not saying buy the most expensive stuff. In fact, I'm probably saying the opposite. Buy reasonable gear at a good price that's going to be right for you. And I'm not affiliated with any of the actual companies making the gear. They're not giving me any separate big kickbacks for telling you to buy their gear as well. So, take the people telling you their affiliate links with a grain of salt. Gear's not always the answer. Remember, you need to learn. You need to check out the tutorial videos around here and learn how to actually write, record, and release your best music. Discount amounts can be deceptive. Remember, that retail price, that list price, is very rarely the price that things are sold for. Sometimes it is, as we saw before, but very rarely is it. Keep in mind that reviews and reviewers aren't always quite what they seem. Some are bots, some are dodgy that didn't actually buy the product. Beware the 1-star and the 5-star reviews. Read the stuff in the middle. Check for verified purchases on legitimate websites. Number 5, price isn't always everything. Don't just go for the lowest price, because the other thing, we didn't even talk about this, but sometimes the lowest price is a counterfeit item. I got stung by that. I bought some very cheap guitar strings, some elixirs for my Taylor acoustic, and guess what? They were so cheap because they were counterfeit, and I should have known that. I should have known better, but I got what I deserve. Check the returns policy. Make sure that if it doesn't work for you, because audio gear in particular is very specific, headphones, speakers, audio interfaces, microphones, all this stuff is very specific to the end user. You may love it, someone else may hate it, everything else in between. And where you can, use PayPal, use a credit card. Go for something that has that buyer protection. Can I give you a bonus tip before we finish up here? Keep your boxes. Yeah, because you'll buy a lot of gear, you'll probably also obtain and then sell a lot of that gear in the future. And you know the best thing you can do to retain the value of the gear you sell? Hang on to the original packaging. Even if you buy a microphone, just keep that nice Shure box with the nice little foam bit that the microphone slots into. Couple of reasons. Looks really good when you list it on the eBay or on your Facebook marketplace or whatever. And number 2, when you then go to ship it, it's in its original packaging. You don't have to worry about it bouncing around or finding other packaging to put it into. It's going to be a double whammy, a double positive whammy for you if you keep your boxes and your packaging. What do you think, though? What tips do you have for buying gear? You folks are very informed and intelligent and savvy consumers. So what are your tips? Share them with us here if you're watching the YouTube video. Share them in the comments if you're listening on the podcast. Tell me, pete@studiolivetoday.com. My email inbox is always open. I don't know how you close an email inbox, but mine's always open. Anyway, that is going to do it for this Studio Live Today podcast. Once again, if you're watching right now, do check out the link that's going to be down in the description of the video, or just go to Studio Live Today on YouTube and check out our big Black Friday marathon stream. We're calling it Gear Chat. Gear Chat Live is a happening thing. And once again, if you want to get all of the latest gear that I use and recommend, there is one place to go, and that is studiolivetoday.com/gear on any of your browsers. As we say at the end of each and every show here on Studio Live Today, please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to your wallet, and keep creating. I'll see ya next time.